itself the product of an evolving template. It takes its cues from the original Trans-Pacific Partnership, which took its cues from the US-Korea Free Trade Agreement. That much isn't new. There's always a template. You always base your negotiations on what you did last time. So yes, template is the basis for negotiations in the future. My worry, though, is that what Ambassador Lighthizer means by that now is that labor standards, environmental standards, and the sacking of investor-state dispute settlement are what are to be prioritized in the future as part of this evolution of the template. If that's true, then there's a very different tone. The tone is one of deterring trade, deterring investment, and all in the spirit of reshoring. USMCA has to build on the WTO. USMCA should be about the plus provisions, the things that the WTO doesn't do as much of or doesn't do as deeply. But to get there, to free up the negotiators to focus on the real value added, is to build on the WTO. USMCA has entire chapters that take their license from the WTO, not just the text, but the case law. That's really important to get right, because what you want to do is to minimize the inconsistencies out there between, on the one hand, the WTO, and on the other hand, all these preferential trade agreements. Now we're seeing this tension emerge because there's a lot of heterogeneity in the design of PTAs. However, the more referential they are with respect to WTO law, the better off we'll be in terms of consistency, in terms of predictability. You don't, however, want a perfect mimic of the WTO. What you want is plus. But to get to plus, you've got to build on what the WTO already does well.